Oh, that's too strong. Put you on the floor. If I spill this coffee, I swear to God. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I have decided that I want to do a Q&A about all things graduate entry to medicine, studying medicine as a graduate. I am now 7 weeks into my first year of medicine, and I thought now was the time to start talking about how I'm finding it and maybe answer any questions you guys have. So I went on my Instagram and I asked if anyone had any questions about the course, about life as a graduate, life in Southampton, and actually I got quite a few questions. Hopefully today I am going to be able to answer those questions, give you guys an insight into what's going on, how it's all been. So I have split the questions into two categories: graduate medicine questions specific to me and how I'm finding it, and then questions about Southampton Uni and maybe tips on applying and things like that. Question 1 is, how does the workload compare to your first degree? For those of you who don't know, I studied a biology degree at the University of Southampton from 2015 to 2018. In terms of the workload, medicine is by far a lot more work. When I was doing biology, I was having probably about 8 hours of lectures a week, and every fortnight I would have a 3-hour lab. And that would be it really. I might have a tutorial thrown in there. So in terms of contact hours, biology was about 12 hours a week. Medicine is at least double that at the moment, and that's with it being online. So I can only imagine how much more it would be if we were going in person. So in terms of the workload, it is more. At the moment, it's not that difficult. The actual content, I'm back in first year now, the content is a lot more simplified. It's tailored for people who've just sat their A-levels. Yes, the workload is more, however, so far the content has been easier. And actually another thing is that less things count. So in biology, most pieces of work I did throughout the year, like whether that was an essay or a lab write-up, most of that would count towards my final grade, whereas in medicine, a lot of it is formative, so you do an essay, but it doesn't actually count to your final grade, and that's something I'm coming to terms with because I'm used to every piece of work counting, whereas now it doesn't always count, but you still have to do it because it's formative. But yeah, so that is something that's slightly different. Okay, question 2. This is a juicy one actually. If you had the choice, would you have preferred to do the 4-year graduate entry course? For those of you who don't know, I applied to 2 graduate entry courses and 2 undergraduate courses. I was interviewed for the graduate course, the 4-year course, but I was rejected post-interview for Southampton and they offered me the 5-year undergraduate course. I guess to answer this question, yes, I would have preferred to have done the 4-year course. Especially when I first found out that I got onto 5 years instead of 4 year, I was actually really upset. If you have any idea of how the funding works, you'll know that funding an undergraduate medicine course is much more expensive for a graduate than doing the graduate course. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to fund it and if it was even possible. However, now that I'm on the 5-year course and I see how the 4-year course is so intense, and I follow a lot of people on Instagram who are doing graduate entry, and I just think hats off to them. Like, it is so much more intense and they have to cram a lot more into a short period of time. Obviously the pros for doing the 4-year, there are loads. It's more affordable, you become a doctor much quicker. But actually now I'm on the 5-year course, I actually do think this course is more suitable for me in terms of how I handle pressure and workload. The fact that I sat my A-levels 5 years ago and actually recapping a lot of the A-level content has been really useful for me. In conclusion, I initially wished I was on the 4-year course, but now I'm on the 5-year course. I am not bitter, I'm just getting stuck in and really enjoying it. Another juicy question. Do you feel like you are spending 5 years behind your peers who are all working, considering it's going to be a long time before you join them? And how will you stay motivated over the next 5 years? These are very big questions. Obviously, a lot of my friends who I went to university with are now starting out their careers, and I'm watching them grow and blossom and find their dream jobs. It is definitely hard knowing that for the next 5 years they are potentially going to be able to afford houses and go on really fancy holidays and like live their best lives, and I'm stuck in this kind of eternal student lifestyle. I did a whole year to train to teach, and if I really wanted to, I could go and be a teacher and earn money and, you know, climb the pay scale there, and in a few years maybe start looking to buy a house. And I think about the bigger picture and I know I want to be a doctor. In the grand scheme of things, 5 years is actually not that long. Yeah, okay, it's going to be my late 20s by the time I'm actually earning some money, but if you look at the positives, you know, I can relax a bit more in the summers for the next 2 years, and I have savings I've saved up in the last couple of years, and I love teaching, but I would have always thought, what if I actually accepted the place in medicine, what could have happened? And I absolutely don't regret that. And I think when it comes to my friends, like, I'm really proud of them, and yeah, it can be a bit hard watching everyone else kind of keep going and moving up the ladder and whatnot, but at the end of this 5 years, I've got a guaranteed job, assuming I pass everything and work really hard. And that ties into what motivates me as well. I cannot tell you how much easier I'm finding it to do the work for this course and sit down and do the lectures, because when I was doing biology, I wasn't really sure where it was going to take me. I wasn't sure what my end goal was, and I'm really motivated by having like a target or an end goal, and I just didn't, and I was a bit lost, and it meant that I would skip lectures. The motivation I have right now is tenfold what I had when I was doing my biology degree. And that is purely because I have a goal at the end of it now. I have something I'm working towards, and even when it's boring, I'm like, no, this has a purpose. Whereas when I was doing biology, like, some people in my course really loved the course and they had the job that they wanted to get with the degree, and I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So now I know what I want to do and what I'm doing it for, if that makes sense. I'm just so much more motivated. Next question is, how are you coping funding your degree? I did make a whole video on how I was planning on funding my degree, and so far that is going pretty smoothly. I've been working 20 hours a week in a pub. It's not ideal. I mean, some evenings I've done a whole day of lectures and then I have to go straight to the pub and work. In terms of how I'm balancing it with my workload, I think I'm doing okay. I normally have one entire day off a week, so normally Saturday is my day off. Obviously I've been put on furlough, so for me this is quite good because I can now do so much more uni work now we're in lockdown, and I don't have to worry so much about money. So I'm actually so grateful for the furlough scheme because it's keeping me alive right now. The bonus is from that I have more spare time now to do the work and even have a few evenings where I can just relax. I know that later on in the course it's going to be more intense and I probably will struggle. So I'm going to look for more efficient ways to earn money. I need to be looking at making use of my teaching degree and doing tutoring. In conclusion, it is definitely possible to work alongside your medicine degree in the first couple of years if you are good with your time and you're happy to sacrifice a few evenings of chilling out for going to work instead. Question number 5 is it harder to make friends as a graduate? Is life any different for graduate medics? So I was really worried at the start of the course, especially because of Corona and everything going on, that it was going to be really difficult to make friends. To be honest, I have made more friends than I thought I was going to make. Mainly because in the first week of term, all the medicine freshers arrived a week earlier than everyone else. I was really lucky. We have this big medicine group chat with everyone in the year in it. There's like 200 people in it. It's a bit chaotic, but somebody reached out to me from that chat who was also a graduate and asked if I wanted to meet up, and then she also invited another graduate and another fresher, and we all went for brunch on the first day of term. And everyone was really nice, and honestly I was just really lucky that somebody reached out to me. We went to a few of the freshers events together. Yeah, we had some good fun in that first couple of weeks, and as the weeks have gone on I've met more and more people. I do feel like I have to put myself out there a bit more. Like, I am more likely to message people now and like say like, do you want to do this, or like how, like just chat to people and like reply to their Instagram stories and stuff. There's also the Graduate and Mature Medics Society, or GRAMS, and I haven't actually managed to go to any of their socials yet because I was working at their first social, but it's literally a society set up for graduate and mature medics, which is really cool. And I have met someone from the society and he was really nice, which I guess brings me on to the next question, which is, have I joined any societies? Yes, I have. I've joined Medics Hockey. Now, I have never played hockey, well, maybe like once in PE, but I read that it was the best medic society for socials, and I was like, that's how I'm going to make friends. I managed to avoid going to a training session until after the third social. I just had to put myself out there, show up on my own, which is not something I'm used to doing. I'm used to like messaging someone like, can you meet me there? Showing up completely alone, sitting at a table with complete strangers and playing games with them. And actually this evening I've got a virtual social with them, which I'm not really sure what it's going to be like. Do I feel like I've missed out by living at home / not in halls? And what is the living situation like for graduates? I don't live at home, but I do live with my boyfriends, and we have lived here for over a year, so I guess this is home, but home is in Poole. I pretty much stay here all the time. I don't feel like I've missed out. I have felt like it's been harder to meet people not being in halls. So of the 2 graduate friends I have on the course, one is in halls, and he's having a great time. I've been here for 5 years, whereas he's come here and this is a new city to him, so I can understand why. I think if I was in his position I would move into halls as well. And then my other friend, she is living at home and commuting in Southampton. She's not missing out either. It just means that we both have to be more proactive when we're organising things, because we have to be like, hi guys, do you want to meet up? It would be easier to make friends if I was in halls, but To be honest, the idea of going into halls when I've been a student here for 5 years just didn't appeal to me. I probably missed out on making like lots of friends, but I don't feel that upset about it. Now moving on to some questions about Southampton Uni in general. What is the drinking culture like at Southampton? Do people treat you differently if you don't drink? It's absolutely not compulsory to be a big drinker at uni. I think the pressure during freshers to drink, you know, there is pressure. I have had friends over the years who haven't been drinkers, and that's absolutely fine. There's loads of societies you can join where drinking isn't really a thing. You can even go to the socials where people drink and say, oh sorry, I don't drink, or tonight I'm not drinking. They're not going to be mean about it. They're just going to be like, okay, fair. And then you just have a soft drink and play the games, and you can literally take part without alcohol. It goes without saying, I think it's a national thing that there is this kind of attitude at uni that you go and you drink loads. And to be honest, like I have done that. But I guess the main takeaway is that if you don't want to drink, you don't have to. You will find people who are like-minded as well. And if somebody makes you feel like you have to drink, or you are weird for not drinking, then they're the ones with the problem, and you need to just not be friends with them. What is my favourite thing about Southampton Uni? I think my favourite thing about the uni is that it's not obnoxious. Like, it's not one of those unis that's going to make you feel like you don't deserve to be there or you're not good enough. I think Southampton is one of the easier Russell groups to get into. There's kind of this vibe, I don't know, it's just nice vibes. Like, I've never felt under pressure to get the highest grade. I think like people put that pressure on themselves, but the actual culture isn't that you need to get like a high first or 70% and everything to do well. Like, the culture here is do your work but enjoy uni and have a good time and make lots of friends, and it's just good vibes, and that's why I like Southampton. It's not intimidating whatsoever. I would definitely recommend it as an option if you are considering applying here. Tips for getting in Southampton with lower A-level grades but a good degree. So I have BCD in my A-levels. If we're talking about medicine, I guess my tips for getting in are make sure that your UCAT score is competitive. Especially if you're a graduate, you need to have a higher UCAT score. Your personal statement will be in front of you at your interview and they will pick it apart. So just make sure that everything you put in there, you can talk about confidently at your interview. What is my number one tip for Southampton interviews? So the Southampton interview is split into two parts. It is a group task where you are given a sheet of paper that has a problem on it, and you sit in your group of about 8 and you discuss this problem and you try and come to a decision as a group as to how you're going to respond to it. It might be a medical problem, but it actually might not. It could be something completely random. And then the second part of the interview is a 20-minute panel. For the group task, make sure that you are not just saying your piece in the group task. Make sure that you are interacting with everyone and telling someone when they have made a good point. Make sure that you acknowledge what they've said, repeat it, maybe even repeat it back to them. You don't want to come across as someone who's just trying to say the right answer. They're not really looking at what you're saying. They're looking at how you say it, how you interact with other people, and if you can kind of be a team player in this group discussion. They don't actually really care what you say. Don't think too much about getting the answer right. Think more about how you're behaving in that group task. What is the most interesting topic you've done so far, and what are you enjoying about the course? So far, I think the most interesting topic for me is anatomy, because I've not really done it before. With my biology degree, I did a lot of plant biology, a lot of evolution, genetics, but actually I'd never really done that much physiology and anatomy. And getting to go to the anatomy labs even during COVID has been like such a privilege, and I get so excited every time we go to the lab because it's just not something I've never experienced before. Recently read Unnatural Causes and kind of got this interest in pathology going, so I've been enjoying my pathology lectures. Also, I've been enjoying genetics because that's my jam. Like, I literally love genetics, and I would always pick modules to do with that in my undergrad, so for me that's like my bread and butter, and like it's just nice to sit back and do those lectures because a lot of it is just stuff I've already done. In terms of what I don't like, I think I haven't decided yet. I don't think I like pharmacology, but I'm yet to decide 100% how I feel about it. It's just kind of, it's the maths that scares me. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm enjoying most things. Okay, so that is all the questions. Thank you so much for those of you who sent them in. Hopefully my answers have been useful for you. If you have any more questions that have come up as a result of this, then please just comment them down below or message me on Instagram. I'm literally always happy to answer questions because when I was applying last year, I had so many questions and I was one of those people that asked a lot of questions. So definitely leave those below. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and I will see you in the next video. Bye!